Okay, sorry about that. So my name is Brenna.
And I'm Sadie.
And we are students from the Weber State University nursing program, and we're just here finishing up our bachelor's degree, and we're here to present to you a little presentation all about screen time and the effects that it has on our mental health. So we showed you that first little video to just kind of introduce and set the tone for it. So do you want to talk about where you work and what you do?
Yeah, I work in a long-term care facility, and so I help patients transition after, say, a surgery or something, in that stage where they need a little extra help before they go home. And then I also help take care of people who need long-term assistance. And so, yeah, that's a really cool job that I have. What do you do, Brenna?
So I am a home health nurse for kids with disabilities. So I usually work with kids who have trachs or feeding tubes, or they need a vent in order to breathe. So that's kind of what I do, and I really like it. I like going to people's houses and hanging out with their kids and getting to know people. It's great. I really like it. So like we said, we are here to talk about screen time and the effects that it has on our well-being, our mental health, all those kinds of things. So Sadie's got the first part.
All right. So we're talking about screen time statistics here, and so screen time can be defined as the amount of time an individual spends using a device, for example, a phone, a computer, television, or, some sort of other electronic. And another definition we need to be familiar with is social media, because that is where a lot of screen time is devoted to nowadays. And social media can be defined as technology that allows users to share information and communicate with each other. So I'm sure all of you are familiar with social media, and I'm sure most of you have social media because adolescents typically spend a significant amount of time using social media. In fact, according to the CDC, kids aged 11 to 14 spend nearly 9 hours a day in front of a screen for entertainment. So that's a lot of time spent in front of a screen, and you'll soon find out that does affect your overall well-being. So let's jump to the next one.
Okay, so I am in charge of talking to you about an activity that I would like you to do. So attached in your Canvas module where this video is, there should be a little survey. And what I want you guys to do is I want you to pull out the survey, pause the video, and take a minute to fill out all of the questions that are on the survey. It should show you how to get to your screen time app on your phone if you don't really know how to go find that information. I think I put that up at the top. So if you're having a hard time, look it up on YouTube or something, and it can show you if my explanation didn't really help. But yeah, go ahead and fill out the survey and pause the video. Okay, hopefully that gave you enough time. You paused the video, you filled out your survey. So with this survey, I just want you to kind of look through your answers and kind of reflect and think about them while we discuss it really quick, and answer these questions that I'm about to ask you in your own head. So first of all, what was your average time that you spent on your phone this week? And the next question I want to ask you is, were you surprised at all by how much time you were spending? Was it a lot? Was it a little? What were your feelings about it? What apps were you using the most? So were you using TikTok? Were you using YouTube? Instagram? What were the ones that were taking the most of your time? Then the next thing I had you look up was, how many times did you pick up your phone? Were you surprised? When I looked at this myself, I was like shocked at how many times I picked up my phone. So I wonder if you were surprised too. And then the last question that I want to ask you, that I want you to think really hard about, is how would you rate your overall well-being and your mental health based on how much time you've been spending on your phone? So based on the results that you just looked up, what would you say you're happy, or would you say you're kind of on the sadder side?
Right. Well, then let's talk about how much is too much. That's a good question to think about. And actually, according to this one study, there aren't any screen time restrictions that are recommended for adolescents by the World Health Organization or any other government entities. And that's interesting because there are a lot of other studies out there that show that excessive screen time can lead to negative health outcomes. And so that would be a good area for more studies to be conducted on, what is a good amount of screen time to have. And interestingly enough, social networking actually has been encouraged during the COVID-19 pandemic to help people feel more connected. So it's kind of a balancing act, and I think it's best to look at it from a personal view and see how it's affecting your mental health and physical health, and make a decision for yourself on how much is too much, how it's affecting your life. So
love that. Okay, so these next couple of videos, there's some TikToks that I found that kind of help describe addiction to social media and signs to look for. And I wanted to hit on these before we go into some of the effects that excessive screen time and time on social media can have on our bodies, physically, emotionally, mentally. So anyway, I just want you to watch these videos and just kind of reflect and think about them. I definitely had some good reflection while I was watching them. So we'll go ahead and play those.
If you feel like you're addicted to social media, stop scrolling for 1 second and just hear me out. Being addicted to something is actually a trauma response. It's your mind's way of protecting you from feeling something. Inherently, there's nothing wrong with social media, but when it becomes a compulsive habit due to an unwillingness to feel and face a part of yourself, all of a sudden, social media companies become like the modern day cigarette companies. So let me ask you, what comes up in your body if you were to think about going a whole day without social media? Does that thought scare you? Because if it does, how much longer do you plan on running from that feeling? The longer you wait, the harder it's going to get.
Okay.
If you feel like you're addicted to social media.
And then the next one.
10 signs you're addicted to your phone. Bab Binat, halas, I know you're addicted to your phone and I'm about to prove it. 1. You unconsciously reach for your phone when you're bored as a reflex. We all do this. 2. Leaving your phone at home gives you heart palpitations. How many of you actually leave your phone at home? How many? 3. You pretend you're listening to someone but you're just scrolling through TikTok or Instagram. 4. You panic when you don't see your phone. 5. It's the last thing you see when you go to bed and the first thing you see when you wake up. 6. You can't even imagine to turn your phone off. 7. You check your phone for notifications every 15 minutes or less. 8. When you don't get notifications, you generally feel upset. For content creators, this is a big one. 9. You find the scroll motion as you go through reels on TikTok very satisfying. And 10. You have a low battery a lot, but it's not because you're addicted, right? Brav, halas, I know you're addicted to your phones. Let's try and stop it and reduce the time we're on them.
Okay.
10 signs you're addicted to your phone.
There we go.
All right, so kind of like those videos talked about, there are some effects that come from being addicted to your phone or addicted to screen time. So if we're talking about the cognitive effects, there are ADHD behaviors that are seen with excessive screen time, impulse control, instant gratification. So that's saying basically most teens are more likely to choose sooner, smaller rewards over larger, later rewards. So you want that immediate gratification. Then that leads you to having difficulty achieving goals because you want that instant gratification, and it takes hard work and time and dedication to achieve goals. So then it also causes poor problem solving skills, and it's been shown to cause you to have poor social interaction skills. So those are all like negative effects that can be seen with excessive screen time. Let's talk about emotional effects that are seen with excessive screen time. So according to this study listed here, if you endlessly scroll through social media, it can cause things like depression, increased stress, damaging your self-esteem, feelings of inadequacy. It can also increase your loneliness. You have less face-to-face social interaction. And this is interesting because people oftentimes turn to social media because they're lonely or they're bored, but then being on social media can actually worsen those feelings of loneliness and boredom. So important things to think about, definitely.
Okay, so there are a few other effects that have to do with what happens to our physical bodies when we spend too much time on the screen. So when it comes to using social media and smartphones excessively, that can cause us to have less sleep hours during the day or during the night, I guess. So we'll be sleeping less. We could have impaired vision. I don't know about you, but I tend to get big headaches when I sit and look at my phone for a long time. And I'm sure the bright screen also really affects our ability to see well after prolonged use. You can also have some problems with high blood pressure from just inactivity overall. Obesity, again, from inactivity. You could have a bad ability to regulate your stress, so you could just have high stress levels and not really know how to bring those stress levels back down. There's an increased risk for developing diabetes, and I don't know if you guys know too much about diabetes, but it's kind of a sad disease and it can cause a lot of problems for your health, especially later on as you get older. There's a lot of different problems that come from having diabetes. And then another one is just an overall lack of energy. So that's just to name a few. There are so many more different effects, both physical, emotional, and mentally, that can all really affect us and our overall ability to function and live good, happy lives, right?
True, very true.
Yes.
All right, so how can we improve this? According to this study, 3 simple ways to reduce screen time. These are all really great ideas. So you can track your screen time, and you can do this by looking at the clock and actually recording the time you're spending on the screen. And there's also apps that are out there which then, contribute to more screen time, but there are apps that help you try and control your screen time usage. And this just helps you to be more aware of how much time is being spent in front of a screen and what it's being spent on, because it could be being spent on something productive or useful, like your education, or it could be mindlessly scrolling through social media. So, Second idea, switch off your notifications. So by turning off notifications from like messages or social media, this will help not distract you from doing other important tasks, and you can accomplish a lot more. And then create phone-free spaces is the last one. And some places where this would be good is like during meals, when you're hanging out with your friends, when you're spending time with family. Don't be looking at your phone and being on a screen. You're just like removing yourself from the situation, and that's not good. You'll regret that. And here is a video, and it is talking about reducing your screen time and reclaiming your life, because screen time can overtake your life, guys. So this is an awesome video. We're not going to play it for you right now because it is a little bit longer, but we highly recommend watching it. It's about 16 minutes, and the gal that is presenting the video, she does a really awesome job, and she brings up a lot of important points. So watch it, please. It's really, really worth your time.
I'm gonna skip that. Okay, so I just wanted to talk about a couple resources. So these are places in our community here in Logan where you can go if you are struggling with your mental health and just need a little bit of extra help. So the first place that we recommend going to is Bear River Mental Health. They've got a lot of counselors that would be happy to help you kind of work through any issues that you're experiencing, especially when it comes to feelings of loneliness or depression. Those are pretty serious feelings, and so we really, really recommend that you go somewhere to find help and get access to somebody who knows what they're doing and can help you navigate those difficult feelings. Another one is LDS Family Services. If you are religious, or even if you're not, if you'd like to go see somebody who also is within our community, that's a great place to go as well. And then also the Family Place, which is totally obviously centered around families and helping people live the best lives they can, feel happy, and they also have a lot